welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys for watching another one of my videos, and thank you guys for watching all my other videos. I'm just trying to upload as frequently as possible so you guys will have new content to watch. And I just want to talk a little bit about my channel. I'm going to be making mostly financially related videos and things that will help you gain more success. And when I say like financially related, I also mean other things that are not just about money, like saving money and investing money, but also like your mindset and what you have to have, like a clear mind before you go into business. So I just wanted to today discuss my channel and my Instagram and my blog, Women's Work, and womenswork.com. And my videos, my blog, my Instagram, everything is related. And it's all surrounding one topic, basically, which is financial empowerment for women and specifically for sex workers as well. The reason why I chose this is because of my past experience and also seeing the discrimination that a lot of people face because of the job that they choose, which I don't feel like they should face that. So I decided to put together my Instagram to make it more inspiring, to give like some comedic relief, and also to give tips and news and everything. Now, if you want to know what my background is, I basically went to school for law school, and there is where I learned about constitutional law and why I chose the name of my channel as Women's Work and my blog as Women's Work, because I learned about discrimination and how discrimination has affected people for centuries. Now, most of you know that America has had discriminatory laws. So, for example, most people would have heard of before the Jim Crow laws, which prevented Black people in the South from being in the same space as white people. And it went down to like schools, water fountains. We all knew what that was basically. But there's so many other areas of discriminated against people that laws have covered and have gone back and forth over time. So I took this con law class, constitutional law in law school, and at the time I was working in the nightlife, and I just saw girls every day who were really smart businesswomen, really intelligent, really good salespeople, but unfortunately they would be discriminated against. And it's basically because of the type of job that they do. So that to me was really unfair. And as I learned more about discrimination and learned about why people are discriminated against, it just clicked in my head that like all sex work should be legal, including full service. Even though I've never really been around a population that has done that until now with like my like outreach, I have been around women who did have like exploiters, aka pimps. Obviously pimp is like a real racial term, but they definitely had exploiters. And I've definitely been around women who have been in bad situations like that, where I know that there's like a woman who's perfectly capable behind that, but I guess, you know, certain things happen in certain ways, and also the way the laws are make a lot of women believe that they can't do things on their own when they can. So a lot of people have told me that women's work is transphobic, that it's not inclusionary enough of men, and there are male sex workers. I understand that that's true, and I understand that now that the name is not really that as inclusionary as it could be. I understand that completely. But because I started with the name, I'm still continuing with the name. The name might change. I might even brand it to my own name, or I might change the name going forward. But I definitely did not have a transphobic intent, which I know for anybody who's like a trans rights activist, that doesn't really matter to you, because I guess a lot of people probably don't have a transphobic intent. I try to be as inclusionary as trans people as possible, but I'm not a trans person. So I feel like sometimes for trans specific topics, I will support trans people and I don't want them to be hurt, and I want them to have the human rights that every other person has. But because I'm not trans, there's a lot of things that I just won't understand on a first-hand basis, and I would love for someone else to explain that, who's actually gone through a transition, like gender confirmation. For me, I can speak on the basis of that I am a woman, I'm from America. That already is like a privilege in itself as compared to some places in the world. I am a first generation immigrant. I have always had legal documentation since I was born. I was born in New York, and I have always lived in the country that I had legal documentation for. So that's another form of privilege. I am Black. I see that as a privilege, honestly. But if you look at police arrests and all that, it's probably not, right now. So when I decided on the name Woman's Work, I decided that because of what I learned in my con law class about what happened when gay marriage was legalized in the United States. So for those of you who don't know, or for those of you who are not American, our Supreme Court of the United States decided in the Obergefell case in 2015 that gay marriage is legal in all 50 states of the United States and its territories. It means that anyone who's gay can get married anywhere in the U.S. Before that, it was a state-by-state law, and it was a slow churn. It was slow. It was like, it actually started like way back in the 60s when they had sodomy laws, and sodomy laws were created to, they would say like you couldn't do certain things even in your own home, even in your own privacy of your own home, that you couldn't do certain sex acts like male on male or female on female, that you couldn't do that even in your home, which is crazy. So they outlawed that, and actually one of the judges on that case, or one of the justices, Supreme Court justices on the case that outlawed the sodomy laws, actually said that now there is no reason why gay people can't get married. If sodomy is sodomy, quote unquote, whatever that means, like that's just like a term that was used. Now that that's legal, there is no reason for us not to have gay marriage. And then it went into, and then there was the Loving case, which was interracial marriage. So that Loving case, and that was either in the 50s or the 60s, that was to make sure that Black and white people in any race could get married in the U.S. And then, fast forward down the line, and you get into the fight for marriage rights for gay people. And the way that it was described to me in multiple constitutional law classes from multiple professors of mine was that the law and society looks at people in tiers. Right now, the way that it is that men who act like men are the highest tier in our society. They're the most respected people in our society. And then comes women who act like women, with women who act like men, like kind of interchangeable. So like, like a stud, I would call in the South a stud. I don't know what you would call like a girl who dresses up kind of like a guy, maybe like more like an Ellen DeGeneres or like a Young M.A. That she might get more respect than a woman who acts like a woman because of her masculinity, and she is acting like a man. And then the the person who gets the least respect in our society is a man who acts like a woman. Now, that's not my personal belief. Obviously, I believe all people are equal and deserve human rights. And obviously, like, I'm like a total like gay guy lover. Like, I love gay guys. I like take in so much, like I consume so much entertainment from gay media, and I have like so many gay friends. And honestly, I think like most people are on the LGBT spectrum. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm LGBT. I mostly date men, but like I'm not gonna say I never like dated a girl. But I think that with the way that the laws are created, it is really discriminatory against men who act like women and carry on female type attributes. And even if you see, they always said like, what is it worse to be called in school? Is it worse to be called a tomboy or a quote unquote a sissy? That's like the argument. And I didn't make this up. I heard it from multiple people. This has been this is like the basis for gay marriage equality in the US. And that's where I'm getting this information from. So when I say woman's work, obviously we know the H. I say the H is for hustler, and we know what the H is for. And woman's meaning feminine type work. And what I mean by feminine is not that only women do it, but that what is necessary for the job is more characterized as feminine. So now, what is necessary for the job of a legal or illegal sex worker is care, compassion. It's more of an emotional based job. It's not like obviously it takes a lot, and there's a lot of administrative work that goes on behind the scenes, but the output of the work is really it's more like compassionate, caring. It's more like it's going on a date with someone, which is like something that people don't think you should be paid for, which is wrong. So that is when you get into the emotional labor breakdown. And what is emotional labor? Why don't women get wages for being housewives? Why is not considered valued labor in our society? Why is that something that's expected of women to do? And all of that is labor. And that's why I call it women's work, whether it's a man doing it. And, on my page, I kind of make a joke of it, which I shouldn't, which like I talk about like Safari as a male sex worker, right? Safari is not a male sex worker, but even if you look at how he's treated, Safari, if you guys don't know, that's Nicki Minaj's ex-boyfriend. He has his own career, but he's more known as Nicki Minaj's ex-boyfriend, even though he's getting married to another woman now. But he has, leaked nudes. He has a toy of himself out, and it's like, okay, that is him doing work that's like not necessarily like the most masculine, like a lot of his friends were making fun of him for, but that's still his work, and he got $1 million deal to put out his toy. So it's like, why wouldn't he be respected? And that is the sad part. Now, is he doing more feminine work? Most people would say like, no, he's a straight man, he's doing this for women. And it's like, I think a lot of people say like, okay, like if you're like a male hooker, like you must be only getting with guys, like only guys are paying for. But with Safari, it's like pretty clear that it's like his fan base is mostly women. And I think that I said like most of the males, I said to someone who asked me about this, and I said to them, I was like, well, most of the male sex workers are gay. And she's like, no, there's a lot of straight ones. And I'm like, you know what, it's true. If they're not women, but they're doing feminine type work. And because the work has like feminine attributes to it of compassion, care, making someone feel good in a way that is not necessarily like, fixing their computer or building a house, the work that is really not valued by society, but it is obviously because we know the prices some people put on it, but because of the legality aspect and people not taking it seriously enough, that is where the issue comes in, where the law, now where you can argue whatever else, but where the law is concerned, it does feel discriminatory against women and against people who do this type of emotional labor type work, which is more attributed to women. And so I just really want to disclaim and say that there's nothing transphobic about this at all. Like, I just, I understand where some people wouldn't feel included. But I feel like gays and men who do sex work, they wouldn't be turned off by my page. I do have male followers who are strippers and models and those type of things. But like, I do want to keep away like a lot of straight guys, if that makes sense. Like, just stay off my pages, stay off my blog, if that makes any sense. It's just, we have to encounter them everywhere, every day. Just, I block them. I don't really care. Like, I think some people would like to get into an argument with them, but like, I really just block them. So I just wanted to describe to you what I was thinking about when I chose the name of my blog. And if anybody has any questions on the constitutional law cases I talked about or a citation, I'm going to try to leave the like a citation below, but I'm sure the case is like very long, so I don't know exactly, like, if you want to read, like, I don't know if it's going to be like a 50-60 page case where I find it online. So I'm not really 100% sure if you're going to want to sit down and read it, but if you have any other questions on that, you can always message me or DM me on Instagram. And I'm going to have all my links below to my Instagram, my Twitter, my website, and I hope you guys come back and watch for the next video. Keep on hustling, and I'll see you next time.